Hare Krishna. I'm very honored to be with all of you this evening, that you invited me here. So, I would like to speak something about Srimad Bhagavatam today. I believe every one of you have heard about Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam, the name itself means the beautiful book about God. And Lord Krishna spoke to Lord Brahma in second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and he said, Jnanam parama guhyami yat vijnanam samamvitam sarahasyan tadangancha grihana gatitam maya. That I will explain you now Jnana Paramam, the absolute knowledge. Jnana, that means consciousness or knowledge that is beyond darkness. Paramam, the supreme knowledge. And this Guhyam, Paramaguhyam, the utmost secret, this knowledge. Yet vijnana samamvitam, and also you will realize this knowledge. Vijnana means to realize knowledge. It's very important to realize knowledge, isn't it? Not to have some bookish knowledge only, and not to apply it in your life, then it's useless. So we all have to have jnana. First, we have to know what to do and what not to do. And vijnana, we also have to apply this in our life. Otherwise, it's just dry speculation. And he explained not just jnana and vijnana, but also rahasya. What does it mean, rahasya? Secret, yes. And what is the ultimate secret? What do you think?
To learn how to serve and love God.
Yes. In fact, love is not separate from service, because love is expressed by service. Otherwise, there is no sense of love. There was one love letter from one boy to his girlfriend. Maybe you have heard this. This is a joke. And he wrote to her, I would swim over 9 oceans to you. I would climb 1,000 big mountains for you, go through forests and deserts, and so on, in this mood. And then at the end he wrote, see you on Saturday if there will be no rain. So without any sacrifice, without any service, there is no love, just lip service. But lip service, no one needs lip service. So the ultimate rahasya, the ultimate secret is prema, is divine love to Krishna. Yes. And prema is so difficult to understand for conditioned souls, because it's very similar to karma, to lust. What we consider love, usually, but we consider many times lust as a form of love. Lust between girls and boys, or for example, even motherly love for her child is considered to be most pure in this material world, isn't it? But we know that nothing is pure in this world. So even mothers have some expectations from their children, ultimately. So in this material world, every relationship, more or less, to some degree, there is mutual exploitation. So, therefore, this pure love is very difficult to understand. Therefore, it's called Rahasya, the Parama Rahasya, the ultimate Rahasya. Sarahasyam tada angam cha. Angam means limbs, literally. And in this case, it means what to apply, how to live our life to achieve this rahasya. And this basically means sadhana bhakti, to achieve prema bhakti. Because sadhana we apply to achieve bhava. And by bhava, then prema develops. And then the whole Bhagavatam is set just for this explanation. And just a few verses after this, it is explained how Bhagavatam have different topics to cover. And the ultimate topic is ashraya. Ashraya means what? Shelter, yes. And ultimate shelter is Krishna, who is the fountainhead of all incarnations of Godhead. He's avatari. He's not avatar, but avatari. That means he's the source of all avatars. And he's the ultimate shelter. And Jiva Goswami explains in Tattva Sandarbha, one of his books about absolute reality, that the whole Bhagavatam is explaining just Krishna. But we know we have so many incarnations and so on. Thank you very much. In Bhagavatam. And so many different stories, even love stories, horror stories, every kind of story. But it is all meant to support this understanding, to understand Krishna, to understand which is and who is our ultimate shelter. Ultimate shelter. It is important to understand that whatever we do in our life, whatever we think, whatever we say, is just searching for happiness. It is explained in Vedanta Sutra, Anandamayobhyasat. We are all pleasure-seeking living entities. We cannot live without happiness. Not just human beings, but every living entity. Even if you see the ant crawling, searching for some food, searching for some sugar to experience some pleasure. And we want to be perfectly happy. And therefore, when the sages from Naimisharanya gathered 5,000 years ago, they put Sutta Goswami as the speaker. And they asked him, Burini buri karmani shrotavyani vibhagashah, adaksado trayat saram samudritya manisha, bruhi badraya bhutanam yanatma suprasidati. Please, you have studied all different shastras, all different scriptures. Please explain us what is one essence of everything. Because in these scriptures there's so many prescriptions, so many paths, so many prohibitions, and injunctions. But please tell us what is the essence of everything, of all of this, by which one can become suprasidati. Prasidati means happy, but suprasidati means perfectly happy. And then Sutta Goswami, in second chapter of first canto, he explains, Savaipum sambaro dharmo yato bhakti radokshaje ahetukya pratihata atma suprasidati. And he uses the same word, suprasidati. How to become suprasidati? Savaipum sambaro dharmo. There is one paradharma, the ultimate dharma, ultimate spiritual path to be achieved. Svaipam samparo dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaja. So it's bhakti to adokshaja. Not just this love or devotional service to just anyone, to our wife or children and so on, but to adokshaja, the Lord who is beyond our sense perception. Yes, because everything that can be perceived by these senses is limited, and therefore brings us misery. Krishna explains this. This is a shocking verse for for many. In fifth chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna explains Yehi sansparshacha bhoga dukkha yona evati adyantavantah kontanati shuramati Buddha. That those who are Buddha, who are intelligent, those people don't seek pleasure in this world. Why not? Because everything in this world that makes us happy has its adi, its beginning, and anta, its end. And so, dukkha yonaya, it gives birth to misery. Everything that we try to get some pleasure from, to get some juice, that very thing will bring us misery. Will bring us misery, just misery. Because, and more we are attached to it, and of course we are attached to things that brings us pleasure, aren't we? Yes. And more pleasure we derive from something, more attached we become. We don't want, for example, we buy a new car, a very good car, and then we parked it just in front of the house, and we suddenly hear some squeaking, and then BAM! Our heart shrinks. What happened? And we look through the window and our car is smashed. And we say, someone smashed into me. because we identify with the car. Yes. And we suffer terribly, of course. More we are attached, more we suffer. So, therefore this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, is rahasya, is guhyam. These are two words about secret. And also in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, not so much in the beginning, in fourth chapter, Krishna explains who is able to understand Bhagavad Gita. And he says to Arjuna, Sayevayam mayatatya yogah proktah pradana bhaktosi me sakachati rahasyam hitaduttamam. And he uses again this word rahasya. You are able to understand this, what I'm speaking to you. There are two conditions. Because you are my devotee, bhaktosi me sakachati, and friend, you are my friend. Therefore, you can understand this uttama rahasya. Tamas means what?
Tamas?
Yes,
Darkness.
darkness. And Uttama means beyond darkness. Yes, that means transcendental rahasya. Because this world is the world of darkness. We need some artificial light, you see, to enlighten this world. So, in order to enter Uttama Rahasya, the transcendental Rahasya, we should develop bhakti and friendship with the Supreme Lord. And this is sadhana bhakti. As explained by Krishna in this verse, we mentioned it in the beginning, tadangam and sadhana bhakti. Yes. So, if one is intelligent, at least a little bit, then he or she should really devote himself or herself to sadhana. Yes, because there is no other way to achieve this rahasya. Because we are so engrossed in material consciousness, it's not possible, not even imaginable, to get out of this entanglement without developing deep, ardent desire. Of course, it's not in our power at all to get out of this attachment. Krishna explains himself, Devi Hisha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mam Eva Ye Prapadanti Mayam Etan Tarantiti. That in 7th chapter of Bhagavata-gita, he explains that this is Mama Maya Duratyaya. It's impossible to overcome my Maya. It's Duratyaya. But whoever surrenders unto me, Mam Eva, he uses this word Eva. Certainly, this Eva strongly supports some statement. Certainly, it's no doubt. Mam Eva ye prapadyanti, only to me. Mayam entantarantiti. One can transcend this Maya. Yes. But of course, this surrender is not so easy because we are surrendered to ourselves more than, than to Krishna. And yes, but the secret is that everyone, even most ardent atheist, is completely enamored just by Krishna and nothing else. Yes. Because in 10th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, Krishna explains, Yat yat vibhutimat sattvam shrimaturchitam eva tat tatavavagachatvam mama tejam shasambhavam. That everything you can see in this world is just, and everything what is attractive to you, what is beautiful or sorry? Yes, what we admire and so on, everything is just a spark of Krishna's splendor. Yeah. So everyone is in love with Krishna, but in the wrong way. Because we are enamored just by a spark, not by the absolute truth. Yes. And this process of devotional service that was brought by Lord Chaitanya and by Prabhupada is the process how to awaken this understanding, this attraction to the absolute, not just to different sparks. I'm attracted to my wife, my children, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my relatives, my friends, my school, my language. And this is all called pritak bhava. Pritak means separate, and bhava means existence, or love, affection. So if we have affection to these different aspects of Krishna, will just suffer and stay captured in this material world. And this is one illusion many people believe in. Even some devotees, I notice, I travel around the world. And for example, I'm coming from Slovenia, and there is Christian, was brought up in Christian background, so I believe he has also a Christian background. He's Orthodox, there is Catholic, not much difference, I believe. I don't know, but at least in Slovenia it's like this, that many Christians are living just ordinary material life. If they're really pious, they go every Sunday to church, but majority not. But they believe that they're good people, and at the end of life they'll go to heaven. Yes. And there are also devotees who are not so strict in their devotional life. And they think, yes, I have my problems, but Krishna is merciful. And at the end of life, I'll go to spiritual world, to Krishna, back home, back to Godhead. But has Krishna just recently become merciful? Or he's eternally merciful? What do you think? Eternally merciful. Yes, but why we are here?
Because we have a free will.
Yes, exactly. We have a free will. Prabhupada said once that if we have desire for one chocolate, we'll get the body to taste it. Yes. So people believe in miracle at the time of death, but the death itself has no power to bring miracles. Have you ever heard that death can change our consciousness? There is nowhere in Shastra that it said that death will change your consciousness. No. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavan tyajanti anti kalivaram tam tam aveti kanta sadatat bhava bhavita. Krishna explains in 8th chapter of Bhagavata-dharma that whatever consciousness we have at the time of death, that state of consciousness will achieve. It's no miracle. We'll just continue our state of existence. Yes. There will be no change, nothing will change. So if we want to go to spiritual world after death, we should live in spiritual world now. Or if we want to go to heaven, we have to live in heaven now. Nothing will change. So if we have ordinary material consciousness, or even more pious devotional consciousness, but attached to our material life, we'll just continue our material life. So we should know very well what is pure devotional service. Because there is one dangerous type of thinking that we are not qualified for pure devotional service. Have you heard something like this? But sadhana bhakti, what does it mean, sadhana bhakti?
Following rules and regulations.
Yes.
Vaidhi bhakti.
Sadhana bhakti is two types. It's Vaidhi bhakti and Raganuga bhakti. But sadhana by itself, by definition, means that we are not perfect yet, isn't it? So we have some impurities. If that imperfection means impurity, isn't it? But there is a path of pure devotional service. That means sadhana of pure devotional service. We practice pure devotional service. And by practicing pure devotional service, we get rid of our impurities. Because sadhya, or goal, is dependent on sadhana. So if we practice impurely, we'll never get the goal of pure devotional service. Never. So we should know what is the process of pure devotional service. And process is anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam anukulena krishna anushranam bhaktir uttama. The uttama bhakti, the ultimate bhakti, is to be anya bilashita shunyam. Anya means other, abhilasha means desire, and abhilashita means the tendency to desire. That is important, because if it would say anya bilasha shunyam, there would be no hope. Who is without any desire, other desire? Who can count how many other desires we have? Unlimited desires. For example, if we would have to sit outside, and if it would rain, we all would have a desire to have some shelter. It's natural. And so many desires. But if we follow pure devotional service, we should know that every desire that is not beneficial for our Krishna consciousness is just a burden for us, an obstacle. So I want to get rid of these desires that are unbeneficial for my devotional service. This is the attitude of pure path of devotional service. Yes, and Bhagavatam, with its stories, is explaining us how to proceed in our devotional life. For example, Bhagavatam begins with this story of Maharaj Parikshit, who came in pure devotional line. His fathers and grandfathers, they were pure devotees of Lord Krishna, and his grandmother was sister of Lord Krishna himself, and so his grand uncle was Krishna himself, and he was protected by Lord Krishna himself in the womb of Uttara, of his mother. And then, although he was so elevated personality, one day he went to hunting and became extremely thirsty and came to the ashram of Samik Rishi, and he saw that sage is sitting in deep meditation and didn't accept him at all. He didn't offer even a glass of water or anything like this. And so, because of his thirst, became so disturbed that he hanged a dead snake around the sage's neck. And this is really some strange mistake of Maharaj Parikshit. But then we see, so even such an elevated personality, he made a mistake. So what to speak of us? We make so many mistakes. But we can see how he reacted to his mistake. This is very instructive for us. he immediately repented. Before even he got the news about this Shringi's curse, this son of Samik Rishi, he cursed Parikshit with very harsh language. How the Kshatriyas, who is represented by Maharaj Parikshit, who are the dogs in front of the door of Brahmanas, are now coming inside and want to eat from the plate of their masters and so on. And, then he cursed the king to die for some insignificant mistake. But, and it is explained that he was influenced by Kali personified, this boy. So we can see the difference between a devotee, as Maharaj Parikshit, his reaction and reaction of one who is under the influence of Kali. So Maharaj Parikshit immediately repented about his deed, and he wanted to rectify somehow or other, and he expected that something will happen to him, and he accepted everything that came upon him with grateful heart. But this Shringi reacted on the challenge in his life with completely different attitude. He was really harsh towards the king, and he killed him for something insignificant. Yes. So we can see from 16th chapter of Bhagavad-Gita the difference between demoniac and divine natures. Krishna explains, we will not go into details because I believe we don't have much time. But it's important that it is explained in these divine qualities are always, there is descriptions that the devotees are tolerant. This is one important quality of the devotees, that they are tolerant, they are merciful, and without pride. But demoniac, they're very harsh, they're arrogant, angry. Yes. So if we, and of course in Kali Yuga, everyone has these demoniac and divine tendencies in their heart together. They're fighting for supremacy in our heart. So there is a saying, I think, of Native Americans, that there are two dogs in our heart. Have you heard about this? Most probably. There's a good dog and a bad dog, and both are barking very loudly. And who will win?
The one we feed.
Yes. The one we feed, he will win. The other one will die. So we should be very careful to feed the good dog and not the bad dog, or to feed both of them. Because most usual scenario is to feed both dogs. Yes. And many times we ourselves are bitten by them, especially by the bad dog. So yes, we should try to tolerate. This is most difficult. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya explained, Trinada Pisunichna Tarurivasishna Amanina Manadina Kirtanya Sadahari. That this is the key for our spiritual development. to be humbler than the grass in the street. Trinada Visnichana. Tororiva Sekshana. To be tolerant as a tree. Yes. And to expect no honor to ourselves. Because we may think that we don't expect, but if we are neglected by others and no one wants to hear what we say, and so we are completely pushed aside, we feel hurt, aren't we? But this is expectation of some respect. Lord Chaitanya is teaching us. Yes, amaninam, manadena. But we should give respect to everyone. And this is explained by Krishna also in 13th chapter. Amanitvam adambitvam. It begins with these two. Amanitvam means that we don't expect respect for ourselves. And adambitvam means that we are without pride. And basically, what does it mean? If we expect respect for ourselves, that means that we demand or we expect others to worship us as Krishna. Because we are in this world because we want to be Krishna. We want to play the role of God. We want to be a supreme. We want to be enjoyer. We want others to facilitate my enjoyment. Enjoyment. My enjoyment. Yes. And therefore, because everyone plays this role in this material world, there is so much conflict. Because there's no place for two gods. It's as simple as this. So there is fight between husband and wife, children and parents, students and teachers. And in fact, in this material world, there is fight on every level of existence. Even if we take a drop of blood and we examine it, there are whole civilizations one against another. So, in every level of existence in this material world, there is just some conflict. Shigurnitai ki jai. So, the solution is to really devote ourselves to spiritual life. We should not be half-hearted in our spiritual life. We should go deep. Without deep absorption, nothing can be achieved. Because in every field, even in this material world, if you want to be successful in some field, we have to be absorbed. If you want to be a good sportsman, to be Olympic winner, for example, how much we have to devote ourselves to this. Or if we want to be a PhD on some field, really, not just to have paper, but to be really a scientist on some field, we have to go very deep. So if you want to achieve Paramarahasya, the ultimate secret of existence is love for Krishna, we should go very deep and devote ourselves to Krishna. And this is achieved by chanting of the holy name. Lord Chaitanya gave us this process. And this process is ultimate rahasya. Chanting of the holy names. Harer Nama, Harer Nama, Harer Namaiva Kevalam, Kalau Nastiva, 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 Gatiranyata. There is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way in this age of Kali. age of quarrel and hypocrisy. Yes, it's interesting. This verse is very interesting. Harir nama, Harir nama, Harir nama eva kevalam. There, if something is mentioned in Shastra, in the Holy Scriptures, once, it's very important, isn't it? Because Vyasadeva didn't have some quota to fulfill how much he has to put in the Shastra. No, he put just very important things into Shastra. So if something is mentioned once, it is very important. If something is mentioned twice, it's really important. Why he would mention twice? In Bhagavad-gita there are 2/2 of verses repeated twice. Not even the whole verse. And there are a few verses that are repeated in Bhagavatam. Yes, so, but if something is repeated 3 times, there is no way around it. It's completely necessary. And we have in this one verse, we have 2 times, 3 times. Harir nama, Harir nama, Harir nama, eva. And it says, eva, certainly. We cannot go around it. Certainly it's like this, eva. And then he says, kevalam. Only this. One other word that is very strong. Eva kevalam. Harir nama eva kevalam. Kalo, that means in the age of Kali. Na means not. Asti means there is. Nasti means, of course, there is not. Nasti eva, and again this eva. Nasti eva, again eva. Nasti eva. 3 times. There is no other way. Certainly there is no other way. Certainly there is no other way. Certainly there is no other way. Gatiranyata. No other way. So, and this is not just some sectarian idea from India or from the Vedas, but it's universally accepted in all genuine spiritual paths. For example, even Jesus said, "Hallowed be thy name." And in Old Testament, in the Psalms, it is said, "Those who call upon the name of the Lord, they will be saved." And in Islam, they have 99 names of Allah. And even the Buddhists call upon the name of Lord Buddha. So we can see this process has tremendous potency to bring our consciousness to the transcendental platform. Yes. So we should follow the example of these great souls, like Maharishi Parikshit. Even if we make mistakes, but if we have the right consciousness and take shelter of the holy name, because holy name is not different from Krishna himself, then we are following the path of pure devotional service, even though we are not pure ourselves yet. Hare Krishna. Do you have any questions or comments? Yes, please.
You said that our goal is to develop prema, pure love for God.
Yes.
So in order to achieve that, we have to go through sadhana bhakti, which is divided into 2 parts, Vaidya and Raganuga. However, we have noticed, and in my experience as well, that when we are following rules and regulations for so many, quite some time, long period of time, we have a tendency, to be more focused on following rules and regulation rather than to develop some rasa or some taste. in order to achieve bhava and prema. So what I mean is that in due course of time, in order sadhana bhakti to become a stepping stone, how to develop actually bhava and prema, it become an obstacle because basically from the one tree we cannot see the whole forest. So how to switch from Vaidya Bhakti to
Raganuga.
because it is entrance for developing Bhava and Krishna Prema.
Thank you. This is extremely important question. Yes, it is explained that raga is achieved by mercy. Krishna tad bhakta karunya matra lobeika hetuka pushti margataya keshchit iyam raga nugochate. And it is explained that Krishna tad bhakta karunya, that by the mercy of Krishna and bhakta, we develop Krishna tad bhakta karunya matra lobeika hetuka. It's the cause, this mercy is the cause of lobha, of great desire, of greed for certain relationship, personal relationship with Krishna. So we enter this abode of mercy, if I can say, by constant hearing and chanting. It's important that we don't use autopilot in our life. This autopilot is catastrophe for spiritual path. That I just finish my rounds and I put a timer for reading. That I read a certain amount of time and then I finish my sadhana and it's done. And if we have such an attitude, then it will be done, but nothing else. We'll never go deep. So, therefore, what is the name of this Maharaj who preached in Orissa, Prabhupada's disciple? Gaur Govinda Maharaj, yes, exactly. He opened the temple in Orissa, and he said that he opened the school of crime. Yes. So, by constant hearing, that means that we go deep in Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, who are full of these descriptions of most deep subjects. We develop desire, because this is a flow of mercy. So we can enter this flow of mercy if we open our heart for the mercy. If we don't open the heart for the mercy, we'll never achieve it, even if we are, if we dive into it, we will not achieve it. Because we don't desire, really. So, by constant hearing, we develop this desire. Shushushokshadadanasya vasudeva kataruchi. Cyanmahatsiva vipraha punyatirtha nishivanat. This is explained in the beginning of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. By serving great personalities who have this attitude, and by hearing. By hearing. We develop taste for hearing, and then we can go deep. Hearing and chanting. So this is really important, to have really deep chanting of the holy name, because we are filled with different faults, and so we just need mercy of the holy name, need mercy of the Vaishnavas. So in this chanting is so important. So when we chant, we should chant very early in the morning and switch off our phones and put them in some other room, not to disturb us. Not even a single sound should come from the phone. This is the ultimate distractor of Kali Yuga. Our phone. If we scroll our phone during our japa, this is just some charade. It's not. This is not chanting. It's not meditation. Yes. So we should go deep. And then on the surface, it's completely the same. It is explained in Ragavartma Chandrika by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that and also by Narottam Das Thakur and also Chaitanya Charitamrita, that in the path of Raganuga Bhakti, this raga is primarily meditation, is our attitude towards Krishna in service to him. But on the surface, outside, it will be just following Vaidhi Bhakti and nothing else. So we don't put an external show. Externally is just the same, chanting of the holy name, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasivanam, and so on. The 9 processes of devotional service. If someone thinks, is explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who is our Rasacharya, that those who think that on the path of Raganuga Bhakti they don't follow anymore these rules and regulations, as you said, Vaidhi Bhakti, then he quotes Shruti Smriti Purana Dipancharatra Vidim Vina Aikantiki Harir Bhaktir Utpatayeva Kalpati. That even if we have so-called Aikantiki Bhakti, one point in devotional service, if we don't follow these rules and regulations by Shruti and Smriti, it's just Utpatayeva Kalpati, just disturbance and nothing else. Yes, just disturbance. So we should know that on the surface nothing changed. What changes is in the heart. And that should be cultivated, that should be coveted. That deep desire we should have for this. And pray for this desire. This is not just cheap thing, this desire. So we should pray for desire. We should long for desire. Yes. Because without lobha we cannot achieve anything. So, and this is the price, as we know from so many scriptures, that this hankering, this deep desire is the only price to get Krishna. Yes. And Krishna himself, it is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the very beginning of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is explained that Krishna established this path of Raga Nuga Bhakti because he's not satisfied with Vaidhi Bhakti. So we cannot achieve Krishna in Vrindavan by Vaidhi Bhakti. Not possible. According to our acharyas, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna in Vrindavan is achieved by Raganuga Bhakti. Yes. And we have the process of Raganuga Bhakti given by Prabhupada. For example, Mangalarati is pure Raganuga sadhana. It's so powerful, Mangalarati. Because it's meditation. And prayer for this bhava. And even Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained what Lord Chaitanya accepted from different sampradayas. And this is what he accepted from Rudra Sampradaya and from Nimbarka Sampradaya. From Rudra Sampradaya, Raga Bhakti, and from Nimbarka Sampradaya, exclusive shelter of Srimati Radharani and Gopi Baba. So, if we accept the path of Lord Chaitanya, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we should accept these three items also. Yes. But they're not on autopilot. Not achieved on autopilot. Yes, we should get involved emotionally. That means desire. It's not by faking some emotions that these pure emotions will come. It's interesting. I think Prabhupada said that what is required crying for Krishna. But if we shed artificial tears will just wash away all conclusions of Shastra. So they will not do anything. So we should develop genuine desire, not some show.
In the process of our sadhana, what are the symptoms or what are the signs that we are progressing? What are the signs that the purification process is going on?
That our material hankerings are diminishing. This is the foremost sign. So if we have desires for material enjoyment, that is a sign that we are full of anarthas still. But even if we have material desires and desires for enjoyment, material enjoyment, but we want to get rid of them, we are sick of them, then it's the first sign that we progress, really. If we really want to get rid of them from our heart. Lord Krishna explains this in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Jata Shraddha Matkatasu Nirvinach Karmas Jata Shraddha Matkatasu Nirvinach Sarva Karmasu Veda Dukhatmakam Kaman Parityagi Pyanishvarah Tato Bhajita Mampritak Shradradul Dridanischa Jushaman Shtastankaman Dukhodarkam Chakarhayam. And it's explained by Krishna that Jata Shraddhas Matkatasu Nirvinach Sarva Karmasu, that when devotee develops faith in my katha, in my devotional service, and he tries to give up all material engagements, Veda dukkhatmakam kaman. He knows that this material enjoyment just brings misery. Paratyagi pyanishvara. But he is not able to give them up. Yes. Tato bhajeta mam pritah. So he should just continue to worship me with happy heart. So if we have problems in our devotional life, just continue to worship Krishna with happy heart. With firm faith, Chadadur Drida Nishchaya. He says, Drida Nishchaya, that means with very firm faith, unshakable. And although we know that this, and we should repent our inability to remove all these material enjoyments from our life. We repent from our heart, but we shouldn't be shaken on our path. And it is explained by acharyas on this verse. What should be our attitude? What should be our determination? And it's said, because it's interesting. I always take vows that this particular thing I will never do. But when the time comes, I will do it. I do it all the time. But even if Brahma comes, Lord Brahma, and instructs me, you should give up the process of devotional service, I will never do it. I will always stick to devotional service, even if Brahma comes and preaches to me. Yes. So this should be our attitude on the path of devotional service. If we have this firm determination and we follow the example of great souls and we search such people, then it's the sign that we progress, if we want to get rid of them, of these desires, unwanted desires. Yes. And if we start to develop this deep desire to attain certain relationship with Krishna, this is the sign that we progress in devotional service. Then we can develop taste. Yes. You mentioned taste. It's important to have taste because, as I explained in the beginning, we are ananda mayobhya sat. We are pleasure-seeking living entities, so we need taste. If we don't taste something spiritual, we'll try to taste something material. Because we want to be happy. We cannot live without taste. But if we don't go deep, we don't absorb ourselves, we'll never get taste. For example, I'll give you some practical example. I'm sure everyone has experience of it. Have you ever tried to eat in a hurry with some anxiety, very quickly? And then at the end you notice that you didn't taste anything? That you don't even know what you ate? You have this experience? All the time. So, if we don't go deep, if we don't be absorbed in what we do, we cannot taste anything. So this absorption is the key for the taste. And without a taste, we can never become attached to something. If we enjoy something, we become attached to it, isn't it? So by taste, asakti develops. Yes. By ruchi, asakti develops. By absorptions, ruchi develops. And only by deep attachment, bhava develops. There is no bhava without asakti. Yes. So, yes, this is how important it is to get absorbed in our chanting. Yes, but without absorption, no taste will develop. Yes. So get rid of the phones, at least for the time being when you chant. Yes. And I advise you don't waste time on this social media. This modern world is so destructive for our consciousness. It may seem impossible to get out of this social media and stuff, but people spend hours and hours in this social media. For example, I heard a lecture of Kadamba Karana Maharaj, His Holiness, in August 2022 in England. It happened that I was there at the time. And he said, I had disciples who sent me some messages every day on my phone. And I could tell them to just chant and read and give up completely your phone. But I don't tell them because they're addicted. They're addicted and they wouldn't listen. Yes, so don't be addicted to your phone. Because it will prevent us to get absorbed and prevent us to get taste and prevent us to get asakti and bhava and so on and prema. Yes. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hare Bol.